We is live, y'all. My little old blind behind, get this started. All right, cool. Gonna give it about slightly a minute when people start coming in. Okay. All right. So I usually like to just get into things because I know that this will stream, and I know that people who watch the live stream eventually, you know, want to know the deets like right away. People can be impatient sometimes too, but it's understandable because I'm the same way. So we're just going to get started, and then people just start coming in little by little. So welcome to Intuitive Vibes Narc Survival 101. It is your girl Erica here. Today is Talk About It Tuesdays. All right, it's our weekly live chat. If you're new to the channel, stick around. You might hear something that you need to know. You might be able to resonate with someone else who is in the chat. And if you have any questions, then be sure to ask. If you happen to catch the live stream when it's no longer live, then just leave a comment in the comment section and I'll be more than glad to answer any questions that you have. And if you enjoyed today's live chat, then check some of our other live chats and of course my other content on the channel. And if you find it to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, hit the subscribe button. So let's see. Hi, Cicely. Hi, Madison. Thanks for being here, guys. So good to see you. I hope you guys had a great 3-day weekend. I sure enough did. I had an awesome 3-day weekend and stayed home. It rained most of the weekend, so, it stayed home. Oh, of course, to my existing subscribers, welcome back, guys. I'm sorry. Can't believe I left that part out. But yeah, I'm just staying home for the weekend. Amanda came over, we chilled, we just vegged out the whole weekend, and it was peaceful and it was great and just very relaxing. Best time ever. I say the best time is to really be at home and just, if you're in your safe haven, enjoy yourself being at home, relaxing, always a good thing, especially since we're making peace our priority. So, there's nothing wrong with chilling at home, Netflixing, or doing what it is that you do at home. Guys, there's quite a few things that I wanted to talk about today. And of course, everybody who joins, everyone who has their input and who has questions, I always try to manage to answer as many questions as I possibly can. But there are a few things that I did want to talk about today, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you can relate to some of the things that we're going to discuss. I don't know if you guys all have seen my post that I put up earlier. The difference between the silent treatment and no contact. And I really wanted to talk about that because I know that some people kind of misconstrue the two and they look at it as, well, I'm giving this person the silent treatment by not contacting them. I mean, you are in a way, but not for the reasons that the narcissist would give you the silent treatment. We know, and just be sure to check out the video because I've done a video on the silent treatment. But the narcissist clearly does the silent treatment as a way to mind control you. It's a way to control your emotions, to control your thoughts, to keep you stuck, to keep you pretty much just in like a real big fog of confusion. And going no contact is really more a way to preserve your peace. Like it's a way to break free from the trauma, in your relationship, dealing with a narcissist, whether it be your family or it be in your romantic relationships. You are dealing with abuse. And even though it may not seem like it, or it didn't seem like it at the time that you were dealing with the person or these people, it's any form of manipulation is abuse. Hey, Gil. Yeah, well, I'm going to be red for a while, for quite a while. So if you want to call me Lady in Red, that's perfectly fine by me. Hi, Chatan. How are you, sweetheart? But, oh my gosh, did I lose my train of thought? I'm already losing it. But yeah, it's to Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Like I was saying, you were enduring abuse. And, again, abuse doesn't have to be physical, guys. It does not have to be physical abuse. It can be emotional, it can be psychological, it can be spiritual, it can be energetically, different forms of abuse. It could be verbal. I know a lot of you have dealt with verbal abuse. Hi, Mario. Oh, okay, I gotcha. How are you, sweetheart? But it can be it could be anything. And when dealing with relationships, whether it be your family, whether it be your romantic relationships, abuse can go in so many different ways, and it can come in so many different forms. You have financial abuse, you have sexual abuse, you have, again, it all basically falls under that umbrella of, whether you got the big word abuse, and then underneath it you have verbal, emotional, psychological, sexual, financial. It's all different forms of abuse. And whenever there's manipulation utilized in the dynamic, that is a form of abuse, because the person is being deceptive, the person is being misleading, the person is pretty much, when it comes to projection, when they've projected onto you internal feelings within themselves. You've probably dealt with, for most of you who, dealt, like, for example, with a male narcissist. You have, I got you, hun, I got you. You've probably dealt with someone who, dealing with a male narcissist, you probably dealt with someone who was, clearly stripped of their identity, stripped of their emotions, stripped of their ability to properly connect with people. So, dealing with a male narc, you are dealing with someone who probably was not good enough in his father's eyes, and was completely stifled by his mother. So you're dealing with someone who spent his entire time trying to live up to the expectations of his dad. Male narcissists, even though I know I mentioned before that a lot of the time it's, the mother plays a big role, the fathers play a role too. They play a very big role as well. And when you're dealing with a male narcissist, you're dealing with someone who doesn't feel like, deep down inside, this is the deep inner psychology of it, they don't feel like a man. They don't feel man enough. But they have to, in order to preserve their ego, in order to preserve certain things about themselves, they have to put that shell, which is their defense mechanism. Oh, thank you, Chatan. Thank you. I'm glad it helped, and I'm glad, and I put the, we linked the other videos under the female narcissist crash course. We linked the other videos for the female narcissist. So, if you haven't already, definitely do check them out, because it gives you bits, every different core of a female narcissist. You will more than likely find it in all those videos if you didn't get it in the crash course. But I'm glad it did help a lot of people, and I'm glad it did, give an idea, to what type of females these people are, whether they be your mom, your girlfriend, your sister, your friend, what have you. It's important that everybody does, check it out. And I actually got 2 dislikes on that video, but then again, you know what, I didn't really, I'm not mad at it. It is what it is. But then, you got people who are disliking videos about puppies and babies and all kinds of, really good stuff that people put on YouTube. Then, hey, I guess I must be doing something right. I must be striking nerves with people, or striking chords, and they're not liking it. So, oh well, I'm not going to get mad about it. It is what it is. But yeah, like I was saying, in dealing with male narcissists, you're dealing with someone who was completely and utterly stripped of their identity. They don't know, they're basically living off of projection. They're living off of, emasculation. They're living off of so many dysfunctional dynamics that they pretty much just, I guess it's kind of like flipped everything off and just said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to, go out there in the world and do me. And, not care about what other people want, what other people think, how other people feel. I'm just going to, it's that survival mode. A lot of narcissists always walk in survival mode, and it's just pretty much their way of self-preservation. But nonetheless, guys, nonetheless, it's really assholish moves, and the things that they do to achieve the things that they want is just completely, it's unnecessary, it's atrocious. And at the end of the day, these people don't have shame. They have no shame in what they do in order to gain something out of someone, people, or situations. So, just keep that in mind if you ever come across, I mean, we talk a lot about different types of narcs, but keep a lot of these other things in mind. If you ever come across someone and let's say you catch it off, in the beginning stages of your relationship, and you don't see you see the relationship is becoming a little too familiar for you, and you see that, no, this is going in a direction that I've already been in before. Not to take anything too personal, because it has nothing to do with you. Their issues have nothing to do with you. You weren't even around when they developed those issues. So try not to take it personal. But yeah, so in regards to the silent treatment and no contact, the silent treatment is pretty much, again, manipulation tool that a narcissist uses to control the victim. It's to control their emotions. It's to, to make them go crazy, pretty much. Because if you've ever had the silent treatment and you have you just rack your brain trying to contact the person, or trying to understand why the person was doing what they were doing, or trying to understand why they were clearly disregarding you and degrading you, that right there was just enough it's enough to make anybody go crazy. Because we as human beings, one, we don't like rejection. Okay. And we can admit that no one likes rejection. Hi, Janelle. Hi, sweetheart. No one likes rejection. No one, I'm sorry. Let me just make sure I have hi, Raphael. As human beings, we don't, we don't like to be rejected. We don't like to be ignored. It's something that it's something that's within us. It's something that's within us. Oh, saturated. Oh, honey, thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. It is just something that's within us, that we are just something, none of us likes to live in confusion. Nobody likes to be confused. Clearly, nobody likes to be confused. Clearly, nobody likes to be, given the runaround. If you've ever if you purchase something and you're calling a company and they're giving you the runaround, what's going to happen? The natural reaction is you're going to get pissed off. You're just going to get really upset, and you're going to become reactive. That's the whole point of the silent treatment with a narcissist. They know that what they're doing is driving you crazy. They know that you're sending, I'm not saying all of you, but some of you, we've all been there. You're sending text message after text message after text. You're calling, they're not picking up. You're trying to understand, you see them doing certain things while they're giving you the silent treatment. So you can see that they're ignoring you, and they're not giving you any kind of attention. They're not trying to give you any kind of clarity, but yet you see them doing things. Majority of the time you'll see it online. You will see it online. Social media has broadened itself over the years. You will see them doing things online. And to everyone else that they've managed to convince that you're crazy, that they've managed to convince that you're the dysfunctional one, you're the, the toxic one, the manipulative one. To everyone else, it's normal. It looks normal. Oh, well, this person isn't doing anything wrong. But they don't know the full story, because behind all of this, the narcissist is doing all of this extra stuff publicly, and yet you're going through the pain, you're going through your emotions, and you're trying to gain clarity from them, and they're completely ignoring you. And they know that you see them doing things. They know that that they're ignoring you. And it's like really, your mind frame is you're seriously doing this right now? Like you're gonna act like we didn't have 5, 10, 15 years together? You're gonna act like this is just completely nothing, like it's just, that's it. I was just kicked off the ship and left to just, to drown. And that's really what their mentality is. Their mentality is, during the silent treatment, they're trying to get reactions out of you. They're trying to get you jealous. They're trying to get you to pretty much show a side of yourself that they've already, shown to the world, and that they've managed to manipulate everyone and saying, oh, this person is texting me like, 10, 15, 20 times. They're completely psycho. They're stalker. They may even, when they're with their friends, their so-called friends, or around people that are, boosting up their ego, they would even show them your messages. They'll sit there and be like, look, this person, look at how crazy this person is. Look at what they're doing. They're calling me 15 times in a row, and they're doing all kinds of, craziness, making you out to be the messy one. But the reality is that during this silent treatment, they didn't give you any clarity. They didn't really properly end things with you, even though they discarded you. But at the end, they left like an open-end discard. So they didn't really end things per se. They're just like, kind of like, we're just gonna leave it up in the air. You think too much into it. Leave it up in the air, and it is what it is. Leaving you in complete confusion, leaving you in complete, just like, distraught. Like, you're just like, I don't understand how this is even happening. You spent years with this person. You've, and again, this is in romantic or family, because with family, it's the same thing. They triangulate, they give the silent treatment, they do all kinds of similar things that a narcissist in your romantic relationship would do. Cicely, yeah, ignored me, but then got mad when I stopped trying to talk, saying I don't care. Yeah, it's just, something, it's so petty and so childish. Okay, it's so petty and so childish, because everything that she was doing because she wanted a reaction. She wanted your attention. And of course she wanted the attention of other people. And when you finally say, okay, you know what, screw this, I'm out, I'm just going to, go my own way, because you're clearly playing games, you're clearly, doing stuff that is just, it's so disrespectful. And that's the one key thing we got to remember, guys, that disrespect. Like, if you would not put up with disrespect from a complete stranger, if you wouldn't put up with disrespect from anyone else, there is really no need to take disrespect from someone who's a narcissist or narcissistic. I don't care if they were in a relationship with you, or even if they're your family. Disrespect is disrespect, and we're all adults here. And as an adult, especially if you have given them nothing but respect and they're continuously disrespecting you, that is your cue to just get up and leave. And when they try to flip that around and say, oh, you decided to go your own way, I'm not doing this, why haven't I heard from you? The fuck you need to hear from me for? I've been sending you messages, I've been calling you, you've been ignoring me, but you have been online talking to different people, messaging different people, talking to your exes, talking to other, doing all of this stuff. So why should I sit here and play this game with you? It's because you're not playing the game. So because you're not playing the game, they're getting agitated. Oh, this person isn't chasing after me. They, they're not. Mind you, guys, I told you this before. Your supply, it's not low grade supply. You gave probably the most, especially if you've been with a narcissist for a long period of time. Okay. Most supply, if it only lasts, let's say, anywhere between a few weeks to a couple of months, that's just like some random type supply. That's just like, oh, that's superficial level supply. But if you've been with someone, you've been with a narcissist for, like, we're talking years, do you really truthfully think they're gonna just let you go that easily? Even though at that point in time, they got either bored, or they had, you know, and I told you guys the reasons why a narcissist would leave. They would leave either because of boredom, because they're just not intrigued by the relationship, or it's not keeping their attention, or, you know, you're not fulfilling them the way they see fit, or they think you're about to leave them. They think you're about to abandon them, that you're going to break up with them. And how a narcissist thinks, I'm going to hurt you before you hurt me. I'm going to leave you before you leave me. Because a narcissist is so used to abandonment. They're so used to being abandoned by people. And we're talking people, whether it be in their family or in their relationships. They're used to the abandonment because a lot of people won't put up with their shit. A lot of people can see through the cracks. It's very rare that they would come across, no, let me rephrase that, because it's probably not rare, but it's, if they can tell that you're a codependent person, they can tell that you're an insecure person, or if they can tell that you are like bending over backwards, you're bending over backwards for them, they're gonna keep you on a little longer because they already see the potential in you. And that's why I tell people, face your codependencies. If you have codependency issues, or if you think you may have codependency issues, it doesn't hurt to go and get checked. Go to a therapist, get evaluated, because those codependency issues is what keeps the narcissist around. That's what kept them in that place for a long period of time, because of all the things that you were willing to do for them, the things that you were willing to give them. You know, you were catering to them, you were catering to their needs. Listen, we all would love to be catered, but it's you know, it's that 50-50. You know, you give, I give, you give, I give. That's how it works. To a narcissist, is like, wait, you're giving and you're giving, and I'm only giving you, you know, you're giving me 90%, I'm only giving you 10%. But you are in love with that 10%, because that 10% is covered with 90% potential. You're stuck in the potential part. You're stuck in this could potentially go get bigger and go further, because they give you, you know, they give you little breadcrumbs here and there, and they did little things here and there for you, and they, you know, they managed to show you, I'm a good person, and look, I'm doing something for you, and then the things that they do for you, it's all because they're going to get something in return from it. It's because they know for a fact that they do something for you that may seem unorthodox or whatever the case. It's because at some point they know that for them doing something for you, you're going to do something 10 times greater. That you're going to do something way greater than what they've ever done for you. Saturated in love. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate you. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anyone. Hi, Madison. I saw that you logged in earlier. Chatan, do narcissists get worse with age? Yes, they do. Listen, they have these studies with people who are narcissists. Narcissists, when they're like in their teens to about their like 20s, I think like mid 20s or something like that. I had read somewhere where that's like probably the worst, especially for female narcissists. That's probably the worst part of their narcissism, because they're young, they act immature, and it's pretty much, you know, they're over time, if a narcissist does not get the proper help that they need, okay, especially if you have one narcissist to 10 people telling them that they're the one with the problem. If that person is consistently in denial and they're not trying to get any kind of help for whatever their situations are, they do get worse over time. Male narcissists, especially when they're hitting like their 40s. You know, when they say that a lot of men, when they're hitting their 40s, they reach what is it called? Guys, when they hit their 40s, it's a certain type of, why am I so blank today? When they reach their 40s, it's like they're reaching a low peak in their lives. There's a phrase for it, guys, and I know you guys know it, so please put it up there. But oh, midlife crisis. I knew it was something. When they reach like their 40s and they're going through a midlife crisis, and it's pretty much like, oh my God, I haven't really done much with my life, or what am I doing? Or it's kind of like that whole men, like how women go through menopause, we go through our own thing, men go through their own thing. But at the end of the day, it's like you dealing with someone who has been consistently emasculated throughout their life, never got help for it, had been consistently, on a commitment phobe journey, because that's pretty much how narcissists are. They're afraid of losing their freedom. They're afraid of losing their freedom, but yet they don't want to be abandoned. If that makes sense to you. And if it doesn't, that's perfectly fine, because these are the kind of people that are very ass backwards. They don't want to commit per se, because they don't want to give up their freedom, but they don't want to be left alone. They don't want to be abandoned, which is why they're consistently in and out, back and forth, because the moments that they are getting their supply met, even if it's superficially met, that's the moment where it's like, okay, that's pretty much like when they're at their highs. But if they don't have any supply, if they don't have anybody to tend to them on that level, that's their lows. Narcissists with age, if they don't get the help that they need, they do get worse. They do get worse. And the older they get, the more bitter they become, the more, because remember, guys, when narcissists get older, that means they're physically getting older, not mentally, but they're physically getting older. So everything they've utilized on the external, it starts to, come on, we get up there in age, what happens? Our skin starts to droop, ladies, our boobies start to sag. It happens. That's part of life. That's the part of, the way it's supposed to be. So as they get older, you'll notice, like with a lot of somatic narcissists, when they get older, what do they resort to? A lot of them resort to surgery, trying to continuously look young, trying to stay young, doing activities that most young people do. So, it's kind of like you're 60 years old, 55 years old, 60 years old, and you're still like, going to the club, and you're still doing, it's like, it's unnecessary, especially at that age. But these are the types of people that, because they never got the help, because they never really sustained relationships, they never sustained commitments, they end up being, especially in their group of friends, they end up being like the bachelor up until like 65, 70 years old, whereas it's either the person that they choose to grow old with is pretty much their last resort. Like if they couldn't find any other kind of supply, they just chose to settle with what they have. Or they end up alone. They end up alone. They end up pretty much just being right where they really don't want to be. They end up being abandoned, because over time, narcissists don't get abandoned by other narcissists, especially if they're their friends or, family members, because they, they're pretty much in the same boat as that person. But they will get abandoned by people who are on the opposite end of the spectrum. And these are the people that in reality they really need. The kind of people who are empathetic, the kind of people who are genuine people, the kind of people that possess a certain type of quality that, had they taken the time to really work on themselves, they may have that as well. But they end up being abandoned. They fear being abandoned. They fear being left alone. And it's ironic, because you fear being left alone, yet you push away everyone who tries to love you or try to be there for you, try to help you in the sense of emotions, sympathy, empathy, things of that effect. They don't look at it that way. They look at it as, all right, you no longer can do it for me. You no longer have what I want. So on to the next. But Chatan, yeah, I believe they do. They definitely, especially people who have narcissist parents. If you have narcissist parents and your parents are in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, and they are still the same, either that or they've gotten worse, it's very rare that a narcissist changes unless they actually go for therapy, unless they actually get evaluated. But good luck trying to get a narcissist to go to a therapist. Good luck trying to get them to even step foot into a therapist's office. And even if they do, if they try to appease you, because some narcs will do that, guys, they will try to appease you. They'll just be like, you know what, fine, I'll go to therapy, we'll go to couples counseling, we'll do this, we'll do that. They know how to manipulate. They can manipulate people, and they can easily manipulate a therapist, especially if you have those really, really good, like manipulative narcissists. We're talking like borderline sociopaths. Hi official, how are you? Hi Green. Stella, my ex-narc found out I became friends with his ex before me. He was afraid of exposure. She confirmed many of his lies about her. You know what? That's not surprising, because especially if they've done stuff with, the ex prior to, it's not surprising. Mine didn't try to keep me away from his ex. And again, I'm going to reiterate, guys, I'm not diagnosing him. I'm not, putting him under a specific category. But if it were, in my opinion, based on the situation, based on my experience, I can say that mine was probably an inverted type of narcissist, where he basically is a codependent. He's a codependent narcissist, and his dynamic. And again, I only heard his side of the story. His dynamic was one that I couldn't understand when he explained it to me. I was like, I mean, I understand, people having to be a part of an ex's life when they have children, which they do. They have a child. I understood that. I understand maintaining cordialness and, of course, co-parenting. That I do understand. But I did not understand the dynamics until after everything happened, because during the time that I was in the relationship with the person, um, I mean, you guys already know my story, and you know what I did for the duration of my relationship. I kept an eye on, you know, on, I kept an eye on her, because there was just something about her that didn't sit right with me. And it was not because that was his ex, because, he made it clear. He was upfront about it. He told me, listen, me and my ex are still friends. She does her own thing. I do my own thing. All right, cool. No problem. As long as no boundaries are crossed, I'm going to respect it, and I did that. But there was just something there that really didn't sit right with me. And I did not let my jealousy, insecurity, or anything, because there's nothing to be jealous about, truthfully. But there were certain things that did not sit right with me. I did not sit there and poke at it and prod at it, but there were certain things that he had also kind of withheld from me. And I wouldn't have known unless I asked the right type of questions. Okay. And in most cases, for example, when I first started dating him, I didn't know he had a Facebook. And I would, send him pictures from my Facebook. And you saw it clearly that it was from Facebook, because I would screenshot the pictures. And I didn't know he had one. So I, didn't ask him, because he made it clear he wasn't a very social type of person. He wasn't a social media type of person. I did not ask him. How I found out that he does have a Facebook was I heard the alert on his phone, and it was on New Year's. I heard the alert on his phone of a message, and Everybody knows that Facebook alert, right? You know the difference between a Facebook alert, a text message, and an email or whatever. So, I didn't bring it up at that time. I didn't say anything to him, but eventually I did. And I just, flat out asked him. I said, do you have a Facebook? And he was like, yeah. He was like, I do. I was like, okay, and why, when were you going to tell me this? And he was like, well, I didn't think it was important because I'm barely on it. All right. I mean, listen, when you started dating someone, you're not asking 1,000,001 questions, right? So I was like, all right, no problem. I said, well, since you have a Facebook, would you mind if I add you on it? And that was when I got the phone call. And everybody knows that when you text someone and you ask a certain type of question, when you get a phone call, it's like, okay, now I got to break something down. And that's what the person had to do. And he had to break it down for me. And he was like, listen, I have no problem adding you on my Facebook, but just want to let you know right now so there are no surprises. And I'm like, okay. My ex is on my Facebook. She's on my friends list. So at first I was like, all right, like I didn't think too much of it. But then afterwards I was like, fine. I mean, listen, he's being honest about it, right? He's telling me up front, although he really didn't tell me up front that he had a Facebook, whatever. So I basically was like, all right, fine, no problem. And when we added each other, he told me, listen, if anybody disrespects you, if anybody says anything to you, whatever the case may be, I don't tolerate that. You let me know. I'm thinking, all right, you standing up for me because I'm your girl. I'm your girl. Cool beans. No problem. And, again, I had no issues with the girl because I did not know her. But even when you don't know someone, guys, use your intuition with people. Because even though you may not know someone, if something don't sit right with you, if something doesn't seem right, chances are, I mean, we have our egos, but chances are, if something don't seem right, you got to really sit down and say to yourself, all right, let me check every angle of things. And throughout the whole entire time that I was in a relationship with him and we were together, whatever the case may be, not once did Shorty tag him on her page, comment anything, leave anything, whatever, nothing, according to what the Facebook wall showed. There was a time that I noticed his friends list. You know how you can change the visibility of your friends list? There was a time that I noticed his friends list wasn't up there. And I'm wait a minute, hold up. No, I know how the social media bullshit goes, guys. And I'm like, I'm not playing that. We're not doing that. So I asked him, what's up with that? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about. Well, you had your friends list and now it's showing that there is no friends list. I don't know. It's probably a glitch. Bullshit. Because I know for a fact that you have to go into your settings to change the friends list. You have to go into your settings if you want to make your friends list private. And I'm looking at him like he has 10 heads. And I'm like, no, you're not going to bullshit me. Put the friends list back, or we're going to have a problem. All of a sudden, the friends list reappears again. Okay, so he already tried that. He already tried that whole, I'm gonna, no, not with me, not today. And listen, guys, everybody has a past, okay? Everyone has a past. You have a past, I have one, everybody has one. But at the end of the day, when you are in the presence of someone that you care about, that you love, that you guys are moving forward from Monday on, anything that has happened in the past stays in the past, okay? Anything they've done, anything you've done, that stays in the past. And you guys are moving forward from this point on. But when they tell you stories or if they tell you certain things, and you know for a fact that the story does not match up with certain circumstances or certain things that arise, because in the end, that's the whole point of gaslighting. When they tell you something, they're giving you a story. If they're telling you something that happened, and let's say it started when you first started dating, and I don't know, maybe you have the memory of an elephant. Okay, they tell you, you know, the sky was blue at the time when such and such happened on April 15th, 2016. I don't know. If that time comes when a situation comes up that revolves around that time of the story that they told you, and you know they told you that the sky, you know, was a certain color, and now they're trying to tell you the sky was yellow. You told me the sky was blue. No, I did not say the sky was blue. I told you what color the sky was. It was yellow. No, what are you talking about? I mean, I know my own story. I was there when it happened. Were you there when it happened? No. I was the one who told you. You understand? They're basically going to try to gaslight you. So they're going to try to play it off like, well, I told you about this person. I told you about that person. I told you what happened here. I told you what happened there. Don't fall for that bullshit. Do not fall for that bullshit. If you know what you heard, okay, and you can reiterate it down to a T, you can reiterate everything that they told you, and they're still trying to sit there and be like, no, I never told you that. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. I've run across that plenty of times too. For me, when I have conversations with people, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a reason to, but at the end of the day, if I'm completely forgetful. I can be forgetful about certain things. My memory is so bad. You can ask Amanda, like, my memory is beyond, it's bad. But people who are genuine, their stories don't change. Their stories would never change. Their stories will always be the same, especially if they can remember it. It will always be the same. But when it boils down to things that we want to forget from our past, when we put them in suppressed memories, repressed memories, when we try to forget, and we don't omit things on purpose, but we do it with the flow of how we've been living our lives, that is completely different from gaslighting someone, making up another story to cover up a lie, or trying to twist your mind to make you think that you're the one going crazy, or you're the one who doesn't understand. You don't listen. That's another thing. You never listen. You don't listen to what I say. You never listen to me. Oh, no. I'm listening. And I'm looking. And trust me, what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing don't match up. Does not match up. But all in all, at the end of the day, given the fact that the only reason I gave the benefit of the doubt when it boiled down to the ex was because of their child. It was because of their child, because of the fact that the child was involved. And even though two separate parents living in two separate homes, I'm familiar with, living at home with a single mom. I'm familiar with with the knowledge that it's important that a child has both their parents in their lives. I gave the benefit of the doubt on that. And at the end, it was, again, when everything happened, given the fact of what he told me transpired between the two of them, okay, and everything that happened between the two of them, he made it abundantly clear, I'm not in love with this person anymore. I'm not in love with this person anymore. Even told me to my face, if you think I'm still in love with this person, I'm gonna knock you in your jaw. Or no, he said, no, excuse me. Let me rephrase that, because I don't want anybody coming at me talking about, I never said that. He told me he was going to punch me in my nose. If you think I'm still in love with this person, I'm going to punch you in your nose. I was like, all right. I didn't take that seriously, but I was like, all right, fine. You're reassuring me. No problem. You are showing me. No problem. When the discard came, and after everything he told me that transpired, I would sit there and say to myself, well, why would, I can imagine you would never want to go back to a person like this after everything that happened, everything you told me, everything you said. When the discard came, he went and did what I truthfully was not surprised that he went and did. Him and his ex started reconnecting. They started talking more. They were following each other on other social media platforms because Erica's not in the picture anymore. Erica's long gone. They started talking more. They started, back and forth or whatever. And amazingly enough, that was the nail that was put in the coffin with me. Even after the abusive, the words, the nasty words, everything, dudes, even after everything that happened in the car, everything, that was the nail in the coffin for me. That right there was like, oh, you're doing this. You're giving me the silent treatment. You are treating me like trash, but yet you are being all key, and chummy with the same person that you told me did X, Y, and Z and all this or whatever. And I kind of learned about the dynamics, guys, when it boiled down to the relationship between his mother and his ex, because his mother and his ex were like this. And at the end of the day, I'm a mother, I have a son, but I am not going to be friends with a female who's emasculated my son. That is not going to happen. I don't care if they have a child together. That is not going to happen. That child can always come to my home. That child can be a part of my life, but I'm not going to have anybody come walking up in my house who emasculates my son unless I've already emasculated him myself. So I learned that the relationship between his mother and his ex was very close. And I've learned the hypocrisy when I tried to be friends with her on Facebook with his mother. And she totally ignored my requests. She totally ignored me. And in the midst of her ignoring me, something told me, why don't you go check over the ex's page and see what's going on there? And that's when I saw that she was commenting on the ex's pictures right around the time that I was sending the friend request. So she was completely ignoring me. And of course, he was trying to make excuses for his mother. Well, she's not always online, or maybe, you requested the wrong account. And I'm like, bro, please. Because every time I was around, I saw that phone in your mom's hands. So you're not going to sit here and tell me otherwise. But yeah, guys, trust me. It's hey, Butch. Hi, sweetheart. Adam, is it rare for narcissists to go for narcissists? It's like fire and water. They don't mix. Narcissists can end up with other narcissists. They can. The chances of the dynamics lasting long, no, not unless one of them is an inverted narcissist. Okay, but if you have, like, for example, two overly controlling narcissists that are in a relationship together, it's too much of a power struggle. It's too much of a power struggle between the two. So they won't really last long. The kind of dynamics that last long are codependents and narcissists, because the codependents really won't fight. They're not going to fight. The codependents are too busy trying to keep the relationship going, keep everybody happy, make sure that everybody feels good. Everybody is, everything's pretty much set. But to narcissists, it's too much of a power struggle. So at some point, it's just going to be constant toxicity and constant butting of the head. But if you have an inverted narcissist, which is a codependent narcissist, and a narcissist, that probably has a bigger chance of lasting a little bit longer. Not as long as a codependent and a narc, but it would probably have a chance of, lasting a while, because an inverted narcissist is simply one who is a covert narcissist, a covert codependent narcissist, and they can only really sustain relationships with another narcissist, especially because of the fact that they were raised by narcissists. So they're more familiar with relationships, with dynamics with other narcissists. Yes, they do, Adam. Yes, they do. They can tell. I mean, clearly they cannot see that you're an empath right off the bat, but when they get to know you, that's why they study you. So, whether you be an empath or codependent, however way you want to call it, when they study you and they study your ins and outs, and they learn the types of things that you're willing to do or the type of person you are, they're already sniffing out what they can get out of you, whatever kind of supply they can get out of you. Hi, hello, Kitty. Hi, sweetheart. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just double check and make sure. Raphael, I had to kick my narc out of the house. I could not deal with the trauma. Yeah, you have to. You have to. And whether it be your romance or your family, at the end of the day, trauma, disrespect, manipulation, everything that they project, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth your peace. You know, it's not worth any of it. It took me a while for me to break free from the trauma bond. It took me a while, and I was talking with Amanda about this. Why a lot of us stayed around so long in these relationships. A lot of us stayed, or fought for these relationships because there was a figure, whoever that figure was in your life, okay? And it may be from repressed memories. It may be from something that you're trying to just, because a lot of us, we throw things in the back of our mind and we try not to think about it. But there was a figure, a parental figure in your life that in some way, shape, or form maybe rejected you, maybe was not emotionally connected with you. I'm not saying, you had bad parents, but what I'm saying is there had to have been something there within your dynamic with your parents as to why, not why you're attracting a narcissist or manipulators or sociopaths or what have you. It's not why you're attracting them. It's why you're still staying in a dynamic with them. Okay? There is a trauma that you have that may be suppressed. Maybe, it's just a trauma that you probably it's subconscious. But if you're sitting there wondering to yourself, why did I allow this to go on so long? Why did I stay so long? Why didn't I leave sooner? Why couldn't I see this before? Why couldn't I, get this, why couldn't I just get out of this dynamic in the beginning? Why? And it's always about you. You're blaming yourself? You find yourself blaming yourself. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you stayed so long. So if someone tells you, oh, well, you stayed with this person for 5-6 years and I don't understand how, you did all that. That could be me. I couldn't do that. All right. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't need your criticism. Okay. I'm already beating myself over the head about the decisions I made. But in the end, guys, there is a trauma that you have, because that's the whole point of a trauma bond, guys. Their trauma and your trauma are connecting. Okay. Their trauma and your trauma are connecting, and it's formed a bond between the two of you. So that bond is pretty much them projecting, lashing, rejecting, abusing, verbally abusing you, emotionally abusing you, making you go on the guilt trip, acting all paranoid, so forth and so on. That's the trauma they're passing on that, on that bond. Your trauma probably is the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection, the fear of, the insecurities, low self-esteem. These are different types. These are different components that create the traumas that we have, especially those who suffered codependency. That trauma is also flowing on that trauma bond. So they know that you're scared of being alone. They know that you didn't want to be alone. They know that you would run to the ends of the earth to try to make this work with them. They knew all of these things. They saw all of these things in your actions, especially after they managed to, maybe the first, the second, or the third time, hurt you or, lie to you or make you feel like shit. But then they come to you and they apologize. I'm sorry. I love you. Let's make it work. I want to try to get, I want to try to make us work. We can, we can go to counseling. We could do this. We could do that. But then they run back and do the same shit again. And they continue doing the same shit. And then Monday, it's I love you. Yeah, you know, happy, happy, oh, happy day. Dinner on the table, maybe even making love. If you know, if if that's even on the menu. Making love and having a great time. Then Tuesday, it's nastiness, it's moodiness, it's paranoia. Where the hell you been? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? You know, oh, just all kinds of bullshit. Then Wednesday, they're coming in with flowers. I love you. I'm sorry. I lost my head, you know, but, you know, I don't want to fight with you no more. Let's try this. Let's do that, blah, 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 whatever. Then Thursday, it's the bullshit again. And it's back and forth and it's back and forth. You were conditioned. This is conditioning. That's what this is. This is called conditioning. They're conditioning you to be on your toes. They're conditioning you to be afraid of them, worship them, honor them, value them, and be afraid of them abandoning you. When the reality is, the narcissist is really the one who needs you, the one who needed you. Because everything that you were willing to do for this person, for these people, everything you were willing to sacrifice to make them happy, nobody in their fucking life would have done it for them. Straight up. Not their friends. Yeah. Pick a friend that you can truly, absolutely rely on. And if you do, you probably only have at least one person. But if you have someone who has 50 friends, and you are in a bind, they're in a bind, and only 3 of those 50 friends come through. Seriously? Seriously. Everything you have done for them is because, and they've loved it. They loved every minute of it, guys. They loved every minute of it. But everything you have done for them has shown them that they had some type of hold on your heart. Because even when the mask was slipping, when the mask came off for a split second and then it came back on, when they were doing the Jekyll and Hyde bullshit and they were going back and forth and they were doing all of these things, you didn't say anything. And the reason you didn't say anything, and the reason I know this, is because a lot of you have been with these types of people 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And it was all because of the fear of saying something, the fear of expressing yourself. You're walking on eggshells with these people. You can't say something, you can't say what's on your mind, because if you do, you don't know what to expect with them. You don't know what they're going to say to you or how they're going to do it, if they're going to get violent, if they're going to go into narcissistic rage, if they're going to get really nasty and cruel and say all types of mean and hurtful things to you. You don't know any of those things. Official, I was in the devaluation stage last week and now have been ghosted and discarded this week. Again, from my female narc. I plan to never go back again. Yeah, official, you have to, you know, a female narcissist can get away with a lot of shit, dude. They can get away with a lot of shit. Okay? And that's the one thing that I want people to understand. They get away with a lot of shit because of that narrative. All they got to do is throw on the charm. All they got to do is bat their eyelashes. All they got to do is just, you know, pose as, oh, I'm a sweet person. I'm a sweetheart. I'm this, I'm that, you know. And no. Don't sit there and believe a female that sits there and says, you know, I am a truly humble person. I'm a sweet person. I am a caring person. Anyone who boasts about themselves, I don't trust that shit. I don't trust that. I tell you guys like it is. I fear God, but at the same time, he's still working on me. And at the same time, I still got the mouth of a trucker. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know, if my actions don't show you who I am, if my actions don't prove to you the kind of person I am, if you can't see that within my actions, and I'm sitting here telling you, oh, guys, I'm a sweet person. I'm a sweetheart. You know, I'm a humble person, and I'm this and I'm that. And my actions are not reflecting all of that. It's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. Female narcissists get away with so much shit. And the sad thing about it, women like me gotta pay for that shit. We gotta pay for that. Because one bad apple ruins it for everybody. Ruins it for everyone. So if you're dealing with a guy who is a narcissist, the female narc in his life was his mother. It was his mother. Or if it was his father, his mother was still no better because his mother was enabling that behavior. So whichever way you look at it, he's screwed up regardless. He's screwed up regardless. But a lot of male narcs, it's got a lot to do with their mothers. They have a certain kind of resentment with their mothers, and when they're dealing with females, when they're dealing with women, because they have issues with their moms, they have issues with the female figures in their life, they resent those female figures. We got to pay for that shit. For what? I didn't birth you. I didn't give birth to you. I didn't emasculate you. I didn't do any of those things to you. But from my lips to God's ears, and if they even bother to listen, half the time they probably won't. Erica, one thing was really strange. Despite posing herself as a victim in her previous relationship and telling all the bad things about him in the beginning, she always compared me with him and the things he did, even praised him in cases. It was hypocrisy. Yeah, because in the end, it's like, yo, pick your poison, you know? Like, which one is it? Are they full of shit? Are they liars? Are they cheaters? Are they, I mean, listen, we're adults here. It's an adult channel. Are they whores? Are they, man or woman? What exactly, where exactly do you stand with these people? When people describe their exes to you, I always say, you know what, just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. Whether they got kids or not. Look, me and my son's father, we are not BFFs. We're not BFFs. We don't pillow talk like that. We don't do, we talk about the things that involve my son. We talk about the things that we want to do and, that benefits my son. We are cordial with one another. We live separate lives. We're cordial. We have a past. We have our history. We've gone through our shit. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. But at the end of the day, we managed to maintain a relationship where we can take care of our child. It took a lot of sacrifice for my child over the many years. But in the end, even though I have my relationship with him the way it was, I don't sit there like bad mouthing him or saying that, if it makes no sense to do that. It makes no sense to do that. Because at the end of the day, no matter how things ended between he and I, he's a great freaking dad. He takes care of his son. That's my concern. And he does everything he needs to do for his child. But when people describe their exes, I've described mine in so many different ways. But not once did I sit here and degrade him in the sense of, he's a piece of shit and he's this and he's that. That's insulting him. Why am I going to insult him? I don't need to insult him. But when I speak on events that happened. I speak the truth. I speak about what actually happened. And I'm not in this, and I made this perfectly clear. Because even though we do have some mutual friends, well, actually, they were his friends before they were mine. But at the end of the day, they found a reason to, when they want to be cool with me, it's cool. I just don't like people who sit on the fence. I don't need that in my life. But I'm not trying to win anybody over. That's when they're trying to win someone over. They're trying to win your trust. They're trying to win you coming to their side to go against their ex. Even after everything he told me about his ex-girlfriend, I didn't sit there on some, oh, she's a bitch and she's this and she's that and blah, blah, blah. I didn't do all of that. I did that after the fact because I already saw what type of female she is too. And at the end of the day, she tried to play the victim. She tried to play a victim. She tried to play the victim of her own circumstances. But I've already seen what type of person, and I've seen what she's done to other men. I've seen how she has responded to other people. Like she tries to use her intellect to like bring, like, demean in a way, criticize, insult people. You know, I've seen everything. I've seen everything. She's one of those types. She doesn't get her way, and what does she do? She goes online and she starts to put up all these posts, throwing indirects, throwing shade at people. That's the kind of person she is. That's the kind of person she is. She's been emasculating him and probably other men. And at the end of the day, you know, you want to try to emasculate the wrong man, go ahead and do it. But if he whoops your ass, that's on you. You had no business doing that. But people wouldn't look at it that way with me. People would look at it as, oh, well, you know, you feel the way you do because that's his ex-girlfriend and you don't know the whole story or whatever. Listen. She had confirmed with me, she confirmed by her actions what kind of person she is. Not many women are going to go looking at another person's demeanor and disposition without prejudice, without being biased. And I look at that without being biased. I could have been biased the whole entire time I was in the relationship based off of what he told me, but I wasn't. I wasn't biased. I wasn't sitting there saying, if he needed to go do something for his daughter, go do what you got to do for your daughter. Well, her mom's going to be, okay, that's her mom. What am I supposed to do about that? You know, why would I try to hold you back from having a relationship with your own child? You know, but at the end of the day, when they talk about their exes, it's because they're trying to get you to side with them. They're trying to get you to side with them so you can have certain types of feelings towards the other person without even knowing them, without knowing them at all. They want you, they're basically briefing you on whatever situation, and you don't even know if it's the truth or not. 9 out of 10 times, if it's a narcissist, they're probably the ones who did all the manipulation, who did the lying, who did all that nonsense that they're telling you their ex did. But at the same time, you have to use your intuition. You have to be intuitive about it because you don't know if they're telling you the truth. You don't know if they're telling you a lie. I personally will not sit there and entertain someone who talks malicious about their ex, who talks nasty about them, who talks bad about them to the point that they're putting their ex down to make themselves feel good. I will not entertain someone like that. I won't. Now, if someone came to me and said, you know, listen, me and my ex, we have problems. She cheated on me. I left. That's giving me the facts. That's telling me, okay, this is what happened straight up. This is what it is. But if they're going into detail and they're going into hardcore detail, yeah, you know, he was, you know, or no matter of fact, yeah, she was a whore and she did this and did that. She slept with everybody and blah, blah, blah. And you see how passionate they are. One, either they're still holding on to that shit and you're about to have that projected onto you, okay? Because you don't know how the story went. But if they're holding on to old trauma, old baggage from old relationships, and you see them, you know, you're watching them as they explain it to you, and they're extremely, immensely passionate about it, and it's like, damn, dude, are you even over it? Are you over what this person did to you? And you can see it in their face. Don't deal with people like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, don't deal with people because you're gonna be dealing with someone who is bringing old bricks from an old house and try to build it with you. Not worth it. Not worth it. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, sweetheart. How do you get family members to go to therapy? They see it as Cicely, you know what? When you have extremely stubborn people and you have people who don't think that there's anything wrong with them, and you have people who don't think they're in denial. People who are in denial, it's very hard to get them to go for help. Very hard. The only time that they may possibly do it is if they're spiraling so much that you create an intervention. But even with that, it's so hard to get someone to go against what they truly believe. It's hard to do that. People can be, human beings are very stubborn. We can be very stubborn people. And if the person is in denial about their behaviors, if they're in denial about, what it is they're doing, their manipulation and everything, it'll be very hard. It'll be extremely hard. I mean, sometimes, unless it's your own children, I would say truthfully, if it's other family, it's just probably best to just keep your distance. Keep your distance. Maybe your distance, maybe you staying away from them. And if they try to say, well, why are you being distant with me? Why are you might have to push the ultimatum card. You might have to do that. You might have to say, listen, I can't be around you and express yourself, express how you feel, but explain to them why you can't be around them. And you can also express to them, if you want me in your life, you want to be in mine, you have to seek counseling. That's it. And if they try to say, oh, well, F you, I don't need help and this and this and that, you got your answer. This is not the year to be fighting for people who are toxic, guys. It's not the year to be doing that. Not the year to be fighting for people who are doing all kinds of nonsense and they don't find anything wrong with their behaviors. We're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. If they do not want to get help, if they do not want to try to create a more peaceful environment, a more sane environment, it's best to let them go. Just let them go. It's at the end of the day, if they want to find their way back to you, they know they have to come correct. They got to do what they got to do. Put your foot down. Don't be afraid to put your foot down and say, you need to either go and get help, do what you need to do, and show me proof that you're getting help, or I won't deal with you anymore. I've cut a lot of people off. I have cut a lot of people. I'm not dealing with nobody's bullshit. I'm not dealing with the nonsense. I'm not dealing with any of it. So people may have an issue. They may sit there and say, hey, I guess Erica don't deal with me. I guess not. I'm not losing any sleep. I'm not losing any sleep, and my bank account isn't losing any checks. So at the end of the day, I'm fine. And I'm a boring person, guys. I like to stay home. So my savings is going up. I'm not killing myself for anybody. Not going to happen. But I just wanted to put it out there that 55 is the new 45. I'm pushing 40 in a couple of years. I just turned 38 this year. But if 55 is the new 45, then I'm gonna try to push the bar up and make it the new 35. Just saying. Thursday, the rabbit would hunt you for the fun and gun. Means karma to these fart narcs. That is true. Cicely, it was on video and she still denied it and said she didn't say what she said. People like that, Cicely, people like that are just, they're attention seekers, man. They're attention seekers. And at the end of the day, why, what was the quote that I saw? You can't, oh my gosh, it's something about a king doesn't need or doesn't deserve someone trying to seek attention from an entire village or an entire kingdom or something like that, something to that effect. It's basically saying that you're worth so much more to be dealing with someone who's an attention whore, who's an attention seeking whore. Okay, you're worth so much more than that. Because why be with someone who still insists on getting attention from everybody else? Why do that? And it's not the matter of being insecure. It's not the matter. Listen, if the person naturally gets attention, if you're dealing with someone who it just naturally happens, that's one thing. But if you're dealing with someone who's intentionally putting themselves out there to get attention, meantime, they have a man at home, nah, man. She's full of herself. She's too full of herself. And she wants to feel, it's because she's getting older. And because she's getting older, people who get older want to feel like they still got it. Oh, maybe let me see if I still got it. And women, it's a little different than it is for men. With women, they can get older, but they can expose more. They can do certain things to themselves that'll really put them out there, because women know sex sells. Women know, sexy pictures and, provocative clothing and things like that. That gets attention. That gets a lot of attention. That's why society is so screwed up now, guys. It's so freaking crazy. The society is just so screwed up. And when I go on Instagram, and if you go to the main page to look at like videos, just random videos, and I see videos of these girls getting lip injections. Getting lip injections. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? Young girls too, 17, 18-year-old girls getting lip injections. Why? Please tell me why. Other females getting ass injections, getting all this stuff done. Getting all this stuff done for what? For what? Please help me understand that. Because when you die, God's gonna worry. God's gonna worry about if you look perfect. Come on, this society is just so bad, man. It really is, and it has shown the younger generation, this new generation. This is what it's boiled down to: getting ass shots, getting bigger boobs, getting full. And some of them get them to the point they don't even look natural. No, and like when I see those videos and I see people do, I want to punch the freaking screen so badly because it's just so annoying. It's so annoying when they be like, and when they talk, what the hell is wrong with people? Yes, I'm saying it. I'm saying it does not look natural at all. It does not look natural. I like to wear my makeup. I like to enhance my look. Yes, I like to do these things. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to do these things to myself. But I'm not going out there poking my lips with needles and doing all for what? That makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. If anything, I'm one who likes to be left alone. I don't like to be bothered. Just leave me alone. Erica, it is true that every narc has a super enabler in their life which keeps them going. Without that enabler, it's impossible for them to get going. That enabler is equally responsible. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is also why, Chitan, I say that for everyone who is in a relationship with a narcissist or any kind of manipulator, if you were an enabler, you have to take accountability for that, but that's on you. And at the end of the day, though you are taking accountability for your own actions, for your own contributions into this dynamic, okay? It's not all completely your fault for enabling the behavior because you are enabling based on a certain type of trauma that you had. If you had a secure attachment, meaning that you didn't have the codependency issues like people who suffer severe codependency, if you had secure attachment, trust me, the red flags, you would have seen it and you would have been like, oh no, I'm out. This right here, I'm not dealing with that. People with secure attachments have very secure emotions. Psychologically, they're set. Their parents have really done the work. But people who suffer other types of dysfunctions, it has to do with the parenting. It has to. It doesn't mean that your parents are narcs. It just means that there is an emotional barrier or some type of dysfunction within the dynamic of you and your parents. And I'm not saying that people have shitty parents. I'm not saying that because at the end it's all a generational thing. Their parents probably were the same way with them and their parents before, same exact thing. But at the end of the day, you have the ability to change that. You can change those dynamics, break those curses. They're called generational curses for a reason. Break them, especially with your children. If you're a codependent or if you were a codependent person, or if you're going through the healing and the therapy for your codependency, break that cycle. You have to basically utilize that, especially if you have children. when you go for your therapy and you learn how to become more autonomous with your emotions and start learning how to love yourself more, people who are codependent don't have much self-love. When you start to do that, you know, show that to your children. This is how you love, but this is how you should be loved. This is how you should be treated. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. You know, that's breaking those generational curses. That's actually, you know, I've seen plenty of celebrities and people, you know, people in real life who have demonstrated, like, you could just tell that they had such good parenting. They had such good parenting. And I see, when I see like and it's sad to say chivalry is like, but when I see, you know, a young man who respects women, he respects a woman. He respects women. He knows how to, you know, treat them. He talks properly. He speaks with yes, ma'am. He's, you know, very articulate, very soft, very gentle when it comes to, you know, that lets me know that his mother raised him the way she saw fit. His mother raised him to be the kind of man who appreciates a good woman, but knows how to discern from a certain type of female that he has no business being involved with. Those are the kinds of mothers, and I've met mothers like that who raise their boys to be emotional, to be vulnerable, but to also, you know, be respectful, but to also discern, because that mother knows that there are other kinds of females in the world that are snakes. They're snakes, and they will take advantage, and they will lie, and they will abuse, especially if these are the kinds of females that get a lot of attention, the kinds of females that they know a lot of men want them. Okay. And because a lot of men want them and a lot of men desire them, there's a difference between being desired and valued, by the way. But because these other men want her, they don't even look at her as a human being. They look at her as a fucking object. But she gets off on that. She gets off on the idea that, well, I'm wanted by so many other men in the world. That boosts up her ego. And ain't nothing worse than a woman's ego, especially a very overly fucking self-absorbed type of female. Okay? Her ego is the worst. It's the worst, guys. And the more it gets fed, the more it becomes impenetrable in her eyes, the more it continues to get fed. So if you're dealing with a female narc and she discarded you, and you're sitting there going through the motions and the pain, and she's looking like she don't give a shit, she doesn't have a care in the world, it's because all these other dudes, everybody else who's feeding her, they're feeding her supply. So she's not even, I hate to say it this way, but I'm going to say it. She's the one who's at the bar with all these dudes surrounding her, and you're the one sitting all the way in the back, in the corner, with a poorly dim table, like a dimly lit table, all the way in the back, while all these dudes are feeding her attention. That's the scenario of it. And she is just like enjoying all of that ego stroking. She doesn't even notice you. And I'm sorry, guys, if you guys had to go through that, because I'm a woman. I'm not used to dealing with a discard when it comes to another woman. But, you know, you have some men that can be pretty callous, pretty hurtful. And men are known, like, by society. I'm going to say by society. The men are known to being the brutes and the vicious and callous ones. But the reality is that though they're overly, they show, like, it shows in their work, in their actions, and they can be, they can be loud and obnoxious or whatever the case may be. Women are the worst. Women are the worst. But can two somatic narcissists stay together in a relationship? Or would that relationship be like an artist and his painting? Two somatic narcissists. I would probably assume they would be in a relationship, but much like any other relationship with a narcissist, it won't last long. It won't last. Two narcissists can be together. They can be together, guys. They can be in a relationship together. But again, there's that power struggle. There's that power struggle. That power struggle is what creates the toxicity because they want that control. So you have two people that want full control. You have two people that are pretty much, in a way, I guess you could say in competition with one another, because that's how the relationship would be. They would be in constant competition with one another. But in the end, it's always going to be very eruptive. It's going to be very, it's just going to be really, I don't want to use the word catastrophic, but turbulent. It's going to be very turbulent. It's just too much. It will be too much. And they will end up, whether one discards the other or whatever the case may be. That's why you won't really, if you ever deal with someone, or if you know someone, for example, who's a narcissist, and let's say they have an ex who's a narcissist, they will probably end up continuously going back and forth in the same cycle with one another. But because they can't sustain the relationship, it won't stay long. It won't stay together long. So they'll keep going back. Break up, make up, break up, make up, break up, make up. But it won't last. They can't sustain a relationship. You have two equally vain people, two equally conceited people, two equally obnoxious people, because that's what they are, very obnoxious. It's just, it won't last. It can go on for a bit, but it won't last. It can go for different cycles, but it won't last. The longer lasting relationships are codependents, empaths, and narcissists. Those are the longer lasting relationships. And like I said, inverted narcissist with a narcissist. That's the only other relationship that I can see lasting longer than just two narcissists that are in a relationship. It's a power struggle. It really is. Madison, no worries, sweetheart. It's gonna upload, and you can always go back. Hi, Marcelo. Hi, sweetheart. Ahmed. Yeah, they have an enabler. In my case, my mother-in-law lectures me daily how I'm lucky to get her daughter, while I don't see any goodness in her. I used to always believe I'm a bad guy until I learned about narcissism a year ago. I didn't know what narcissism is till Corona came. Because when Corona came, if you ever found yourself having to deal with a narcissist, live with a narcissist, be quarantined with a narcissist, yeah, that would definitely bring it out. It would, especially with a narcissist. When COVID hit, I could only imagine how many narcs were. But then again, you have some that are so vicarious that they don't care. Like they're the types of people that they think nothing can hold me back. So I don't even think when they boil down to COVID, I think it's because of other people who were not trying to risk going outside, going to clubs, going to places to meet, or any of that. When COVID hit, I guess whatever supply the narcissist had at that time, I'm guessing that a lot of them probably just ended up staying in the quarantine with that supply that they had. Although I'm pretty sure the abuse was pretty, because I heard that the divorce rate was going up since quarantine happened. So in dealing with a narcissist being in quarantine, whether you live with them as family members or as a spouse or just, in a regular relationship, a lot of them didn't care. A lot of them didn't care about the fact that there is, a deadly disease going on out there. A lot of them still wanted their supply. And I'm guessing, my guess is the route that they would have had to have gone, they probably would have just earned their supply online. Maybe, putting up pictures or whatever, doing whatever to gain that type of attention, because clearly going outside, nobody's going to want to go outside. Nobody's going to want to meet. If anybody even dared try to date during COVID, during the time we were in quarantine, you know, chances are it's, my guess would be if there was anyone on dating sites around that time, probably a lot of them were narcissists. Because the idea of them not having any kind of supply, or having to be stuck in one place, or having to be, you know, it was probably too much for them. And they were probably would have been the types that, I've actually, yeah, I read it too, that a lot of them are the types that feel like they're above the law, or they're above, you know, what the, in this case, what the CDC was saying in regards to wearing masks. So you would see them like, you know, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's like, dude, like, we're in a pandemic, you know, people have lost their lives because of this. They don't care. They don't care at all. No, why should I wear a mask? I'm immune, I guess. They walk with that kind of immunity. Like, I'm immune to COVID. I don't need to wear a mask because I don't have any chance of catching COVID. Oh, you special, huh? You that kind of special? Okay, sure. Yeah, they don't, Marcelo. They don't care. They don't mind breaking the rules. Narcissists break rules all the time, guys. They break the rules all the times. And you know what's crazy about it is when they break the rules, if they get caught breaking the rules, they'll, you know, they'll try to blame it on somebody else. They'll try to push the blame. They'll pin the blame on someone else. It's just pretty much, I can do what I want, but if I get caught doing what I want to do, I'll just find somebody else to pin the blame on, to scapegoat, what have you. Narcissists, no matter who they are, guys, your parents, your, you know, other extended family members, your friends, your significant other, okay, they will always have a scapegoat, whether that be you, whether that be, you know, someone else that you know, whatever the case may be, they will always have a scapegoat. You, in your relationship with the narcissist, your romantic relationship with the narcissist, were clearly the scapegoat. Okay? You were the scapegoat. You got the projection, right? You got the lashings. You got the moodiness, the nastiness. You got the disrespect. You got everything. You got all of that. You were their scapegoat. Okay? And they were pretty much doing to you what their parent was doing to them. So that time that they were projecting and they were lashing and they were doing whatever, because, you know, you did something to piss them off, you did something to make them angry, you did something that was against what it was that they wanted, you got scapegoated. But then when you did something that fulfilled their ego, that satisfied them, that made them feel good, that did everything that, you know, gave them that warm, tingly feeling inside, and you were almost kind of like the golden child, right? If you think about it, they put you on the pedestal. They gave you their love because you had done something that was satisfactory to them. And what did I tell you that narcissist mothers do to their children when they have, you know, if they're scapegoating, if they're doing the golden child routine or whatever the case may be, it's transactional love. Didn't you notice that when you were in your relationship, if you did something that was against the grain, or if you did something that in the narc's eyes wasn't their cup of tea, or wasn't something that they deemed was appropriate, what they deemed was, you know, beneficial to them, you noticed you got attitude, right? You noticed that you got nastiness. You noticed you got the whole, you know, the whole Frankenstein, because that's exactly what you got. Fuck Jekyll and Hyde. You got Frankenstein. And that's because they felt slighted. When a narcissist feels slighted, they're basically going to, in a way, retaliate. They're going to, you know, take things out on you. But when you were doing things that were stroking their ego, though you thought you were validating them, okay? You thought you were validating, but it's really stroking their ego. When you were doing things to make them feel good, when you were doing things to show them, and majority of the time this wasn't intentional, but you were doing things that was showing them they're in control, right? When you sit there and say, I love you, I want to see you happy, you know, what can I do? What can I do to make you happy? You know, when you try to do nice things for them, you try to do certain special occasions for them, you try to make them comfortable, you try to make it everything peaceful. Okay, you try to do things from, you know, from the kindness of your heart. You try to do all of these things. They look at that as, yeah, I got you. I got you. You're doing all this stuff for me. Mind you, and it's crazy because in the beginning you didn't notice it, but they were giving you very minimal. They were giving you very little. You were packing in that 90%, guys, and they were giving you 10%. And that 10%, they had that looking like a whole fucking diamond. Like they just had like, look, my precious. And they're giving you a diamond. Okay? They're giving you the diamond. And it's like, oh shit, that's wow, that's a lot. But little did you know that diamond was cubic zirconia. It wasn't even a real diamond. They gave you 10% and you gave them 90. And now, little by little, you start to notice, okay? Because eventually the mask, guys, the mask don't stay on forever. Trust, it don't stay on forever. But you start to notice certain things. You start to notice, oh, wait a minute. I'm doing a little bit more than what this person is doing. I'm contributing a little bit more than what this person is giving. And you want to sit down and talk about it. You want to communicate because now you're starting to what? Get a mind of your own. Now your mind is starting to creep in there. Your brain is starting to come up in there. And it's saying, okay, all right, Marcelo. All right, Cicely. All right, Butch. You know what? Let's have a little talk, you and I. And your brain is telling you, okay, we're going to act like we don't see this. So we're going to act like this person isn't just giving you 10% and you're putting in 90. We're going to act like you are not going to, you know, from above and beyond to make this person completely happy, to give them everything they want. Okay. You done filled up their closets with, you know, name brand clothes, designer shoes, fucking thousands of dollars worth of makeup from Sephora. No shade on Sephora because I know a lot of people shop there, but at the end of the day, if you one of the makeup heads, you know you shop there. I'm not, you know, don't come gunning for me because I buy my makeup from CVS. I'm just saying. But anyway, you done did all of this stuff for them. Your brain is telling you, all right, dude, let's have a talk. And your brain is now showing you because some little bits and pieces are now coming in. Those little bits and pieces, those are the puzzle pieces. And they're starting to all come together. So now you're going to sit down and you're going to have a talk with the narcissist. And you're going to say to them, listen, this relationship feels kind of one-sided. And it feels, you know, you're expressing yourself. And you know what you're doing? You are clearly not running with the program. You're not going according to their agenda. You are not doing what they intended on you to do. So what do you now what happens? Now a number of things can happen. Okay. In some cases, one, you can start looking for a new supply because they already see that you're noticing certain things and they can't hold up that mask any longer. So they may, again, this is for certain narcs, a narc who feels like you may be too much work. They'll just start looking for a new supply. They'll just start looking for someone else. In the meantime, they'll run the whole gaslighting bit and, you know, just, you know, try to appease you. Two, they may give, you know, if they see that there's a chance of this ending and they don't have any supply backed up, then what they're going to do, they're pretty much going to rerun back through the honeymoon stage. Okay, so they're going to try to go back to the way it was, but they'll always regress. It's always going to be a regression because at some point they can't hold that up because it's not genuine, guys. It's not coming from them. It's just coming from a state of selfishness. Oh God, let me do this because if I don't, then this person is going to end up leaving and then I'm not going to have anybody and so forth. So they'll they'll appease you. They'll appease you. And they'll basically be like, you know what? All right, fine. Let's go on another honeymoon. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go here. Let's go there. And it's all good for maybe a month or two, depending on how long the mask stays up. But then it goes right back to the same shit all over again. It goes right back to it all over again. I'm sorry, guys. Did I hit my Okay, here we go. Simply, my devaluation and discard started at the beginning of quarantine. She blamed the lack of intimacy on COVID. The lack of intimacy. What type of intimacy? Because you have different types. So the lack of intimacy in that you guys like emotional intimacy or physical, because it's there are different types of intimacy. So I just want to be clear. What does it mean when you never had the golden period? The golden period, as far as Rika, as far as what? As far as like parental figure, like being when it boils down to the parental figures in your life. Both everything except sex. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, Cicely, as far as using COVID as an excuse, as far as, because here's what I've learned about narcissists, okay? When it boils down to, which we've talked about this, guys, we've discussed this, when it boils down to sex, you're either going to get very little to none, or you're going to get a lot, but it has nothing to do with you. And that it means that it's really more a matter of control. Narcissists use sex to control people. They use sex to control, to try to boast, like, as far as give you the best sex you ever had or whatever the case may be. They might try different things here and there, but it's really a way to try to control you, to control. The same thing as silent treatment is to control your emotions. Okay, because sex in a relationship, guys, sex makes it does change a lot of things. It definitely changes a lot of things. Okay, and in this case, again, you could be dealing with the type of narcissist that have sexual dysfunctions, where a lot of them are probably cerebral, where they're like, they don't need sex. They don't need to have sex or a sexual partner. In fact, a lot of the time, they prefer not to have a sexual partner. They'd rather just gratify themselves by themselves. It's really more about just manipulation, psychological manipulation, emotional manipulation. That's how a lot of cerebral narcs are. But you can have overly sexual narcissists. And if you're dealing with that kind of narcissist, chances are, and please don't take this the wrong way, but chances are she's having a lot of sex, it just ain't with you. And I'm sorry to say it that way, but it's the truth. Those are the over sexual, hypersexual narcissists, where they are not intimate with you clearly on an emotional level, let alone a sexual level. But she is she is being intimate with someone. It's just not with you. But because of the fact that she's getting a certain type of supply from you, she's still sticking around. She's still staying in the dynamic. But you have narcs that are like that. That they're very super hypersexual, and their thing is being sex is like empowering for them, because if they can conquer as many people as possible and pretty much get everyone on board, so she can pretty much get whatever she wants out of any kind of situation. This is where this more goes into sociopathy. Sociopaths do this too. Okay, sociopaths do this. They will have sex with people, and in order to gain clearly something out of each individual. And it's really more about power. It's about power. It's about control. It's about the ability to say, Everybody wants me. Everybody, craves me. And having sex in their mind is like the cherry on top. It's all about control, guys. It's all about conquering people and trying to, because not for nothing, guys, sex can really screw with people's head. It can really screw with someone's head. And especially if you have someone who's emotionally invested, extremely invested in a relationship, that can really, it creates that bond. It creates that bondage. All right. If you've heard of the soul ties, sex creates soul ties. It creates a tie with that person. You are passing energy with someone when you sleep with them. You're passing energy. You're passing certain types of, it's basically whatever that person has on them, whether it be negative or be positive, whatever the case may be, they're passing that on to you. So whatever, narcissists inherently walk with very, very bad energy. Okay. Very malicious, very bad energy. Okay. And for everyone else who's spiritual, yes, entities. They walk with these types of entities. And when you sleep with them, these entities that they have attach, or these energies, however way you guys want to do it, they attach themselves to you. They attach themselves to you. So you're not only a victim of the narcissist, but you're a victim of that negative energy that they carry with them. And now that energy is attached onto you. So that draining energy that they walk with is now draining you. That's why you feel so defeated. That's why you feel so tired. That's why you feel so numb, and you just feel like you want to give up. You just don't want to do it anymore. You don't want to run, you don't want, I'm not going to say you don't want to live anymore, but you don't want to, you just don't want any part of anything anymore, especially when it boils down to romance, because it's like, I'm so drained from this person. I'm so drained from what they put me through. I'm so drained from trusting them, and they betrayed my trust. You don't want to do it anymore. You just kind of want to just be by yourself. You don't want to bother with anyone. And you're just like, you know what? You're so guarded. You don't know who to trust. So you're just better off putting that huge fence with the barbed wire around and saying, yo, screw this, I'm done. That's that soul sucking energy, guys, which is something else that you guys have to release. You got to release that. You got to cut that soul tie when you release that type of person in your life. Just because they're physically not in your life anymore does not mean that that energy doesn't linger around you. That's why a lot of people, it takes longer for them to heal, because they don't release that. They don't, do what's necessary for themselves to get rid of that. And it lingers around. It lingers around them. We're all made of energy, guys. We all emit energy. Everything we do requires energy. So keep that in mind when you come into someone's presence, especially if you come in open with that open white light energy, because people can see that. They can feel that off of you. And the minute they feel that off of you, that's why people get drawn to you. And people are so comfortable with you and want to talk to you. They find it easy to talk to you. And you could be a perfect stranger and they just start talking like, you know what, I just feel so comfortable around you. It's because you emit that kind of energy. You attract what you emit. So you're going to attract a lot of people. Unfortunately, that will include narcissists. So that's where you have to walk around with a chancleta and just be on the safe side, guys. All right, let's see. Rika, when they love bomb you and treated you so amazing, everyone says that's how the relationship starts. But some people didn't get that sucking up period where the narc was perfect and treated them as if they were perfect. So what makes a narc not love bomb someone? Well, I've made it I always make it clear that not every narcissist is the same. Not every narcissist is going to do the same thing, which includes love bombing. They're not going to all do that. You have some narcissists that come off just as completely normal people. Okay. They just give you the impression that they are normal types of people. You have some narcissists who are what we call invulnerable. I'm sorry, not invulnerable, vulnerable narcissists. And vulnerable narcissists are the type of narcissists that do the opposite that an invulnerable narcissist would do. So a vulnerable narcissist is more about self-pity. They're more about being the victim. They live in victim mode throughout their entire life. Okay. An invulnerable narcissist is the opposite of that. They're the ones who are the life of the party. They're very outgoing. They're very humble. They're very loving and caring and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Not every narcissist is going to love bomb. Not every narcissist is going to say, I want to give you the moon and stars on the second date. Okay. Not every narcissist is going to, make you feel like you're on cloud nine. Over time, they just may seem like normal people. They may seem normal. They may seem sweet. They may, do certain gestures. They may give you little gestures here and there to a point where it reaches a grand gesture. They try to give that I'm normal. Okay, the ones who love bomb are the overcompensators. They're the ones who are just like trying to do it way too fast. They're trying to just get you locked in. I personally believe the ones who really love bomb are the ones who are just trying to get supply. They're just like, shit, I need supply. I need to do it now. Okay, I found someone who's attractive. Let me try to get this in there. That's my personal opinion. I think those who love bomb are the ones who just they want to get it in real fast. But the ones who don't, that are pretty much, they seem normal, they act normal, they talk normal, and over time it just seems like a normal type of relationship, and it seems pretty much, the ones who love bomb. I've been love bomb a few times, but didn't really recognize it, didn't notice it. I mean, at the end of the day, it was like, okay, maybe this person is just really enthusiastic. Maybe they're really they're, I don't know, they're amazed by me, and it felt good. Like in the beginning, especially for a codependent. Because a codependent doesn't have any kind of self-love, but it did feel kind of good to feel appreciated, to be wanted, to be desired. But the love bombers, in my opinion, are the ones who are just going like just want to get the supply in. They just want to get it fast. They want to get it done. They run right away because they have that agenda they have to fulfill. The other ones are just pretty much the ones that want to give you the impression that they're normal, give you the impression that, we're like, yeah, we're cool, we're calm, we're collected, we're chilling, we're talking, and everything seems cool and everything seems great. But with those, it slips through the cracks every so often. But you never really notice them because they're too busy showing you that they're just, really cool, down to earth kind of people. They're really just, normal, Bob and Joe, or normal Bob and Lisa, whatever, whatever their names are. But those are the ones that it's kind of hard to detect. It's really hard to detect. If you're dealing with someone who's a love bomber, I mean, listen, you going on a second date and already they're like, oh, I think you're my soulmate. I think, you're the apple of my eye, and I just want to marry you and this and that. Yeah, that's a little too much. That's a little too much. Those are the ones that you can spot a mile away because they're just too fast, too quick. It's just wait a minute, hold up, slow down, pump the brakes. But the ones that you have to be on the lookout for are the ones who don't love bomb you. Those are the ones you have to be on the lookout for. The total opposite of what people would generally categorize. Those are the ones that you have to be careful of. The vulnerable ones, those are the ones you have to be careful of, because they will make themselves out to be the victim. They'll sit there and give you a whole pity story. They'll sit there and make you feel sorry for them. And they'll make you feel like everybody before you treated them like dirt, treated them like crap. And those are the ones that you have to be extremely careful of. Yes, love bombing is very dangerous for codependents, because codependents they're seeking validation, they're seeking approval, they're seeking love, they're seeking everything that they have, that has been stripped from them. So when it comes to the love bombing, especially if they're in the presence of someone that they really like, or they're really attracted to, or they can really see something with them, they don't notice that. They don't notice that. It doesn't seem like anything, they just think that the person really appreciates them and really, admires them and likes them. That's why it's happening. So they really don't stop to say, hey, wait a minute, slow down, buddy. No, a codependent has a fear of being alone. They have a fear of abandonment. They have that fear. So they will go into a relationship with that, in itself. It's crazy. I know not everybody will do that, but these are codependents, guys. These aren't just people that are, that know the difference. They're looking for validation. Yes, it's just Marcelo. Some narcissists don't love bomb. They don't love bomb you, but create in your mind subconsciously the impression that the honeymoon, that affection will happen soon, and it never does. It's manipulation. Yeah, or if it does, if they do give you affection, it's textbook. Okay, it's cognitive. It's not it's not it's cognitive. It's not effective. So it's pretty much, it's not something coming from naturally. It's coming from what they've learned, how they learned to utilize. It's like a rule book, right? Dating book, whatever the case may be. The different ways to make the other person fall in love with you. The different ways. That's why these little relationships. I can't, when it comes to these relationship experts, or these people that say, 105 ways to make someone fall in love with you. Like, seriously, you're going to put that kind of shit on the market when you got people who, and it's all textbook. And believe it or not, some of it works. Some of it works because you had some very unsuspecting people. Ahmed, I'm in couples therapy now, and after every session, I feel like whatever I speak is used against me. Of course, that's going to happen. That is going to happen. Also, the funny thing, my wife makes everything look nice 2 days prior to our session, and immediately after the couple therapy, she gives me the coldest shoulder you may never imagine. Ahmed, I don't know your situation. I don't, I wouldn't sit there and tell someone, hey, leave your wife, leave your boyfriend, leave your girlfriend, or whatever, if you guys are having problems and you're trying to work through it. But I will tell you this. If you are going into couples therapy and she's not making the effort to try to fix whatever issues it is that you have, if she's not trying to make any kind of effort to keep your connection flowing, as healthily as possible, at the end of the day, this is what you're going to be dealing with. That's what you're going to be putting up with, and if that's something that you are okay with dealing, because, again, I don't know your situation. I mean, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. You can't do it. So if she's only doing it to appear like she's trying to make things work, and she's really not trying to help make things work, then what's the point? Seriously, there is no point. Butch, hold on, I don't understand. So love bombing, vulnerability, and narcissism equates to victimism? I don't understand. But narcissists walk with the victim mentality. They always walk with the victim mentality. Okay? Some of them project that victim mentality, which is what would make them a vulnerable narcissist. So they project their They project their victim mentality. And vulnerable narcissists are clearly people who have been through a massive amount of abuse, whether it be emotional, psychological, maybe even physical abuse. Their insecurities have been like dragged. They've been dragged through the mud when it boils down to it. So they gain their supply by victimizing themselves. They gain their supply that way. But when it boils down to a narcissist, well, it's funny how you put like the love bombing, vulnerability, and narcissism in like all in the same sentence. Um, when it boils down to vulnerability, there is no vulnerability with a narcissist. They don't know how to be vulnerable. And the reason they don't know how to be vulnerable is because they're detached. Only people who can be emotionally attached, people who are capable of becoming emotionally attached, can become vulnerable. People who are detached, most narcissists suffer avoidant attachment. They're pretty much, it's just blank. It's blank when it boils down to emotions. But if it does boil down to feeling some kind of way, feeling emotional, it's about their feelings. It's about their victimization. It's about pretty much how they were turned into a victim. That's always how it's going to be. Whether they, even if they discarded you and you decided to walk away from him, and you decided, fuck this, I'm out, do what you do best, they're still victim, because now they're going to tell everybody how you abandoned them. So in the end, you don't win. You don't win one way or another. You do not win. Love bombing is just pretty much a way to get supply in fast. That's what love bombing is. It's to just get that supply locked in fast. And they have to be, this is why they have to study people, because they need to know the difference between someone who is a codependent and someone who is a non-codependent. Because someone who is a non-codependent will be a lot harder to convince with the love bombing than someone who is a codependent. If that does make sense for you guys. Yes, and during the love bombing phase is when they get the most information about our personality and weaknesses. We don't notice, but that's what they're doing. Absolutely. They give you that, if you guys have been through it, they give you that comparison stories. Oh, I've been through the same thing. Like, but if you don't notice how they could say one word and you're like already like vomiting out everything that you ever gone through in your life. Like, you feel like you can trust them so much, and you're just sitting there vibing, having conversations, not realizing that you're feeding them information of your life and the kind of people you've had in your life. Because, well, of course, they're smart little fuckers, Marcelo. Narcissists use marriage counseling to manipulate others to side with them. They pretend that they put the effort to fix the marriage, but don't. So when it's over, they blame the other. Yes. Or if you decide, if you decide to leave and say, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I'm trying to make this work with you and it's not working. So you know what? You're going to have to go your way. I'm going to go mine. If you file for divorce, they're automatically going to become the victim because you're the one abandoning the relationship. So they're dragging it along. She's dragging that along, knowing that she's not putting into the relationship. But if the minute you decide that you want to just up and leave and you just want to live your own life, she's going to automatically go into victim mode. See, I was going to therapy sessions. I was making all the, attendance in all the meetings. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. And look, he's abandoning me. So even if you decide to get up and leave and you decide that you're done with it, doesn't matter. She's going to be the victim and she's going to be the one who was abandoned while you were the one who wasn't doing anything to help make it work. Unfortunately, that's how it operates. I'm praying also before that she may change. 5 months she withheld sex from me, and now we are back after the session started. I wish you, Ahmed, I really wish you well on that. I do hope that it, that does work for you. I mean, if it doesn't, marriage, 5 months withholding sex, yeah, that, I mean, but again, I don't know your situation personally, so I'm not going to pass judgment or say anything. I'm not trying to plant anything in your head. But I mean, I do hope that works. I hope that the therapy works for you, and I hope it manages to do something for you. Anything. But if it doesn't, at least you tried, and you can say you tried. And if it doesn't work out, then you just you move on with your life and find the happiness that you deserve. Her money was so on point with me, it threw me off. I thought maybe she does care and I messed up, but she was only studying me to use it against me. I'm sorry, her memory was so on point with me, it threw me off. I thought maybe she does care and I messed up, but she was only studying me to use it against me. Yeah, they'll definitely try to they'll try that where they'll ask you a question, like and or just set up certain types of scenarios and then wait a while and then ask you again to see if what you said was true or not or whatever. Meantime, you can be giving them the full truth of everything, and it's like, but trying to get it from them is like pulling teeth. It's like pulling teeth from them because they're so. It's funny. A narcissist is so extremely secretive. They're like they'll probe you, they'll prod you, they'll do all kinds of stuff. But when it boils down to keeping secrets, excellent secret. They keep, but not everybody else's secrets. They keep theirs. They keep themselves, their lives secrets. They omit shit. They keep secrets. They hide things from you. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But her memory, and it's funny how you say her memory's on point. In that you would think, yeah, okay, she's just like you said, you thought she really cared about you. Her memory was on point. I thought she cared about me. No, their memory's on point because they remember things you did. They they don't really so as much remember the things that you did for them. They'll remember the things that you did not do for them. They'll remember the things that they felt slighted them, that they felt went, against what their agenda was, what it is they wanted to do. They will remember those things. But anything good that you did, and even if you try to bring it up and you're like, after everything I've done for you, this is what you're doing. Oh, now you're gonna throw everything in my face. You don't win. Either way, Cicely, you do not win. Rika, some people that suffer narc abuse lack accountability as well because you can leave if you really want to. Well, I you know what? It's 50-50 on that for me. It is 50-50 on that for me because when it boils down to, again, like I said, when it boils down to a trauma bond, it's not a very easy thing to break out of, especially when you were conditioned to be to be a part of that. Majority of the people, narcissists or codependents, were conditioned for many years. They were conditioned to be the way they are. Okay. And to say that, you can easily just get up and leave because you wanted to, that's a very tough statement. Because in the end, you have a lot of different people who stayed in the dynamics for different reasons. Okay. Some of them, who have been narcissistically abused in domestic relationships, could have been domestically abused, could have been physically abused. Some of them could have been sexually abused. Some of them could have been in situations where they could not leave. People, everybody has their own different situations. But in the end, when it boils down to getting up and just leaving when, because you wanted to. It's also dependent on the situation between that person and the manipulator, the perpetrator themselves, because there may have been times when people were set on leaving, wanted to leave, but the manipulator managed to manipulate them, guilt trip them, or, make them false promises, future fake them into believing that they would change, into believing that they would, and if the victim decided, well, I'm going to leave, and the narcissist, future fakes, and they promise the victim that things are going to change, things will be better the next time. Now this gives the narcissist more drive and more power to be, to come harder with their manipulation, and to come harder with, it's they basically can lie better, because people like to think that people are capable of change, that it's not, you don't just throw in the towel at the very first argument or the very first time something goes wrong. But I always encourage people, for the duration that they were with these people, that have enabled these people, that have stayed in relationships with these people, yet, at some point managed to get out of it, they always take accountability for their own actions. Okay. A lot of victims have done that. A lot of victims sit there and say, no, you know what? I take accountability based on, because again, the dynamic with the narcissist is based on your trauma. It's based on trauma. It's based on things that have gone on in our lives way before we even knew the narcissist existed, and our trauma attached to their trauma. And that's what held on. But narcissists are extremely addictive people. And we'll get into that next week. We'll get more into that next week. My friend said their memory has to be on point to get resources, because if not, they'd go hungry. I can believe that. I can believe that to be true. They have to, but they have to. The thing of it is that they have to. Their memory has to be on point when it boils down to you, clearly, which makes sense because they use gaslighting tools when it boils down to them covering up their lies. Yes, Marcelo says, theoretically, yes, but narcissistic abuse has many aspects: mental control, financial disempowerment, and many times when the person realizes what is going on, the victim is so exhausted. Yes, absolutely. I learned about narcissism lately myself, and I'm realizing I grew up in the hands of narcs, but didn't know what was happening around, though I used to clearly notice this is not a real human behavior. No, it's not. It's not. This is behavior that has been projected onto, if you have parents who are narcissists, that's because their parents were narcissists. Their parents were narcissists or extremely narcissistic, whichever way. But narcissists are not born. I said this plenty of times. They're not born. They're not, they don't come out of the womb a narcissist. You don't come out of the womb a codependent. You don't come out of the womb a sociopath or, a psychopath. You don't come out of the womb this way. If you are born with something, it's because of something that has been genetically passed on to you. But you're not a narcissist. You're not a codependent based on, genetics, it's based on the dynamics of the upbringing in your childhood. It's based on the connection of, between the baby and their parents. That's what it's all based on. We're going to talk more about that. We'll go more into it next week. I strongly would suggest, guys, please check out my attachment styles video. If you haven't already, check out the attachment styles video. It's going to tell you the different types of attachment styles. And when you understand the attachment styles, you'll understand how codependents, how narcissists, how different types of people, they've managed to have some form of functionality in these dynamics, why it lasted so long. You'll be able to understand that. You'll be able to understand where, we'll be able to understand where a narcissist comes from and where a codependent comes from. Okay? Because the both of them can come from the same parent. They just both internalize their trauma and their pain differently. That's it. There's just, that's just that thin line right there. Okay? But we'll definitely talk more about it. We'll talk more into it next week. And if I missed anyone, guys, I'll go back to it. And if I missed any questions, I hope I didn't. But if I did, I'll definitely get back and I'll respond. I will definitely be sure to do that. Rika, how long did it take for you to build your confidence back after your narc abuse? They probably. I'm sorry, Rika. How long did it take for me to gain my confidence back after the narc abuse? I mean, if that question is for me, it did take me a while. It took me a while. After the discard, I was they program you to have no self-worth and you don't matter. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, it did take me a while to regain whatever little bit of confidence that I had left. I would say truthfully, honestly speaking, when I started the channel, I think, it was around the time I started the channel, which was back in 2019, late 2019. And it was maybe a little bit before that, I managed to come full force with my confidence. I started to just do different things for myself. I started to grab a hold of my life. I honestly walked with the mentality of, this person did not give a damn about me, didn't care how much I was hurting, didn't really bother to even see if I was still alive, Then I come to realize that these types of people like to watch you regardless. So more than likely he was probably watching me. I don't know. But I at some point had thought I spotted him a few times, and I'm like, because they do like to watch you. But I regained my sense of self and strength when I said my farewell letter. I sent him the farewell letter. I got my closure. I created the closure. I was the one who had to just put an end to everything. And when I did the closure and I mailed the letter, then I changed my phone number. And from that point on, I was just working on myself. But it was really more so when I started the channel that I actually, the channel was what really helped me a lot, guys. It really helped me. It helped me to not only regain my confidence, but it helped me to understand more of what I had experienced, understand more of what everybody was experiencing. And it pushed me. It pushed me to do better. It motivated me to just want to reach out and really try to help. I always had this feeling of being like a teacher ever since I was younger. I always wanted to be a second grade teacher when I was younger. And I didn't go through with it. Clearly I'm not a teacher, but I got into so many other things but doing this channel was my blessing. It really was, because it helped me to keep my mind focused. It helped me to understand what the goal is. And the goal was to heal and try to help others heal. And that's when I really, really just started to I started to go from being in a cocoon to actually becoming a butterfly. And it felt great. It felt great. It felt great to be able to talk about what happened to me. It felt great to be able to talk with other people and let them know that, you know, you're not alone. I'm here. I've been through it. There are so many other people who've been through it. And you put your mind to it, man. You can really do it. You can really, it's not easy. It's not easy, guys. Many a nights I cried. Okay, I cried and I cried, and I felt, some nights I felt like I couldn't breathe. I went through the motions, and but I thought more about my son and how much he needs his mother, how much he needs his mom to be focused and to be healthy and to be happy. And that was for me, it all started when I created the channel and I started putting videos out there and I started doing little, you know, skits, and it just felt good because it was getting feedback and people like, oh my God, I went through this and I went through that. And from that point on, but you guys like helped me get through a lot. And you don't even realize it. A lot of you have. And I just, you know, I'm a strong believer that God rewards us in more ways than one, especially when we do things from our heart. We don't ask for anything in return. We don't sit there expecting anything from anybody. And he's showing me little by little. He's showing me that I can still have a soft heart. I just have to know with whom and when to use it. You know, because I walked around with a stone heart, guys. I was with a stone heart for a couple of years. I didn't want, I was just like nasty with it, real nasty with it. But it started to break down little by little. And now I'm at a very positive place. I'm very at a very peaceful place. And just being with you guys, like it's what brightens my day. It's what I look forward to. On Tuesdays, that's what I look forward to. I just look forward to being here with you guys. And even so, sometimes even Amanda says, Eric, you know, if you need to take a break, take a break. And I'm like, no, I don't want to, you know, I want to stay on point because I know people, they have questions, they want to talk. And, you know, it lifts me up knowing that when I come on, you guys are going to be here. That really makes my day. And it makes me feel good when you guys email me and you leave messages and you leave, you know, you leave comments. It really, it's helped lift me up on so many different levels. So I'm so appreciative. I really, really am appreciative. And, you know, we're going to continue doing this. We're going to continue doing this. We're going to make it stronger and definitely keep it going. Definitely. And August of 2019, yeah, and if you guys go all the way back to the beginning of the very first video, you'll see over time the evolution. It was a matter of evolving, and look at where we're at now, you know. And a lot of you have been doing so much, you know, to get better, to get well, to get over things, to just heal and move on and keep doing it. Keep doing it, guys, you know. Keep with the no contact. Keep with the ignoring them. Don't bother with them. Don't let them bait you. Don't let them try to humiliate you. If you find yourself in a situation, don't know what to do, or whatever the case may be, shoot me a message. I'll be more than glad to help you with it. You know, because that's what I'm here for. It's no problem. There's never too many questions. Okay. There's never too many questions. And if, you know, it's just a matter of, it's okay if you can't go it alone. You can't do it alone. It's fine. You got people, you got support. So don't worry about that. You're not alone. Trust me, you're not. Absolutely. I'm a learn more. I mean, yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, you know, write it as much as you possibly can, as much as you possibly can. Continue to, you know, continue to pray to God and pray that he delivers her and he does what he has to do. But in the end, just understand something, okay? Because we pray to God for so much that sometimes when we pray to God, everybody expects a yes, and sometimes he says no. So in the end, you know, continue to walk with your faith and continue to, you know, to do what's right for you, you know, and hopefully I hope that, I hope it works out for you guys. I do. I don't want to see your marriage break up or anything. But at the same time, with that same breath, I do hope that regardless of how this turns, you find peace. You find peace whichever way you go. Okay? And definitely keep us updated. We meet together every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. So keep us informed, and we'll be more than glad to welcome you in with open arms. Oh, but guys, I thank you so much for being here. I am to the point, my throat, it's with all this talking, and I actually have to get little man ready for bed. But guys, I thank you so much for joining me today. I love having you guys here with me. Oh, I thank you, Rika. I thank you so much. Thank you guys. I'm sorry. I'm so tired. I am. I'm like dazing, but thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for giving your input. You guys are awesome. I'm always appreciative of it. I thank you, Janelle. I look forward to you guys being here too. And if you have any suggestions or anything you would like to for me to discuss, or for us as a group to discuss on the live chats, please leave the comments in the comment section or shoot me an email and we can discuss it. Okay. I want to cover every basis for you guys. I want to answer whatever questions you have, and I want to help as many people as possible. So definitely let me know. I'm always up for suggestions. I've been winging it lately, guys. I've been winging it and it's been going great. So let's keep it up. All right. But I'm going to get ready to call it a night. My loves, thank you so much for being here. Little man's coming out, so that lets me know that it is time for bed. Thank you, baby. I will see you all back here, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, if you have any questions or anything you want to add, please leave a comment in the comment section or shoot me an email. Amanda put up all the information. But definitely check out the attachment style videos, please. I think that's very, very important. You'll really understand more in detail. You'll understand more about your attachment with other people, your attachment with the narcissist, your attachment in general. Please do check that out. Attachment styles play a very, very big role. All right. So I'm going to call it a night, guys. I will be throughout the week, doing my daily post on the community board, and I may work on another video, and hopefully I can have it for the end of the night. But yes, Marcelo says my goal is to heal, rebuild my life, be myself again, and have new healthy connections with healthy people. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm hoping that you get that here with us, Marcelo. I hope that, we can be a good support group for you, a good support group for everyone, for all of us, all together. Okay? As a community, guys. Ahmed, oh, thank you. You know what? We're all strong. We're all strong. We're all strong in many ways. All right? God will not give you any kind of battles. He won't give you any kind of loads you can't handle. All right? And he gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And at the end of the day, guys, you're still here. You're still alive. You're still breathing. You're still running. That's what matters. That's what matters. We keep it moving. We keep it strong. Focus on your healing. Focus on your peace. Peace is priority, right? And, just focus on living a good life, having a good life. We've had such a crazy year. 2020 was such a crazy year, and there was so much going on, and so many people have lost their lives, due to this infectious disease. We're given another chance. We're given another day. Let's not waste it on people who are just clearly unhealthy, who are clearly toxic, and who are clearly not going to change. Okay? So guys, I love you all. I want you all to have a great week. Okay. I will keep you posted if I do put up a video. But in the meantime, I'll just put up the daily posts on the community board. And I will see you all next week. Okay. Good night, guys. Bye.